Hello music fans, welcome to another episode of What's New 2023, where I talk about new albums in the metal, rock, and prog worlds that came out recently. Today I'm talking about 3 new albums that came out on March 3rd, 2023, and I'll talk about them in my order of preference and give some quick thoughts. I've listened to one of these albums twice and the other two once, so it's not like a full review, but just some quick first impressions. And I'm going to start off with Fauna by Haken. This is progressive metal. It's the 7th album by this amazing band from the UK. This was my most anticipated album of the whole year because I love Haken. I saw them live in 2022 with Symphony X, which is probably my favorite live concert I saw in 2022. And that's saying a lot because I saw some great concerts in 2022, including Porcupine Tree, the Mars Volta, Opeth Mastodon, and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Now, everything Haken puts out is top notch. I think this album might actually be in my bottom 2 Haken albums, along with what's the one? Affinity. Affinity is probably my least favorite, and this may be my second. I've only listened to it twice, so this might change, but just as of now, my first impression. But even Haken's weakest album is better than 99% of bands' best albums. This album still cements them, in my mind, as the kings of modern progressive metal, kind of taking the crowns and the torch from bands like Dream Theater, Symphony X, and Between the Buried and Me, who were wearing the crown before. Those bands are all still great, but I feel like Haken's kind of carrying the torch now. Maybe they can all sit on the throne together or kind of rule at the round table or something. My favorite track is Elephants Never Forget. Next, I want to mention the album Heimdal by Enslaved. This is progressive black metal. It's the 16th album by this Norwegian band, and they've never made a bad album in my mind, but I only really love their last 8 albums, including this one, where the second half of their career, they leaned more towards progressive metal than black metal. But they've always had bits of both, bits of prog, bits of black metal. They've just been shifting more towards progressive metal than black metal over the years, which I like. Don't get me wrong though, if you're a black metal fan, this album will still please you. It has that intensity, that harshness. I think it could also appeal to prog rock fans who don't like black metal, as long as they can overlook or are content with the harsh vocal styles and shrieking of black metal. It's not that the whole time. There are clean vocals, but there is still a significant amount of the black metal shrieking here. This was in my top 5 most anticipated albums of the first quarter, and I think it lived up to my expectations. My favorite track on here is the title track, Heimdal. Next, I want to talk about an EP actually, and it's by a band called A.C.T, and the EP is called Falling. This is progressive rock. It's the 3rd EP by this Swedish band, and I don't really know much about them. I just heard the single, The Girl Without a Past, and it's very synth heavy. It sounds like the 80s. There's some killer guitar riffs and vocal melodies and progressive moments, but ultimately it's a very catchy and poppy song. And then the whole EP actually ended up sounding like this, all very catchy and fun. It seemed to me like there was some kind of concept or narrative flowing through it. But I've only listened to it once so far, and I didn't dig into the lyrics, so I'm not actually 100% sure if it is a concept EP and what the concept is. But I do think prog rock fans will like this, especially if you like the sound of the 80s and you like catchy poppy hooks mixed in with your prog music. Say if you're a fan of 80s Yes, 80s Genesis, or 80s Rush, give this a try. And I forget the name of my favorite track on this one. What was it? I think it was called The Earth Will Be Gone, the second last track. So check that out. And that's it for my albums that I've listened to that came out on March 3rd. Please let me know in the comments if there's any other great metal, rock, or progressive albums that came out on March 3rd that I should check out, or really any genre that you think I'd like. And until next time, peace out.